Classic cinema, Nosferatu, unfortunately now today, more true than it should ever be. A horror film, but we're living in a horror right now, as Trump and Elon Musk have exposed something that we could have never expected to see to the size and scale that has now been revealed. Because I guess this guy does exist. And not one or two or three or even 1,000. How about over 1 million? Millions. That's the story I'm going to bring you here in just 1 minute. I'm a numbers guy. I love numbers. They tell a whole story, don't they? But until you have the real numbers, you can't tell the real story, can you? Ages 100 to 109, all the way up to ages 360 to 369 years old. What are those numbers in relation to, you ask? I know, in jest, I put up this picture, but it's really the only way they can exist. Elon Musk coming out, according to his Social Security database, these are the numbers of people in each age bucket with the death field set to false, which means we're going to disregard it. Maybe Twilight is real and there are a lot of vampires collecting Social Security. What does it mean in money? Your, my tax dollars, where are they going towards? Pretty simple question. Robert Sterling coming out. This has the potential to be the biggest fraud in U.S. history. If Doge's numbers are right, $522 billion, or 1/3 of all spending on Social Security each year, is fraudulent. And this is just the beginning. Just the beginning. Here's my math. According to Doge data, 20.7 million people 100 and years old are receiving Social Security, but there are at most 101,000 living centenarians. So 20.7 million people, if these numbers are correct, collecting Social Security in age brackets of which there at most is only 101,000 people. That's the census, says 101,000. UN estimates 80,000. The average monthly benefit is around $2,100 times 12 times 20.6 million equals $522 billion per year over a course of 10 years. That's $5 trillion plus of wasted taxpayer dollars. Everyone's hoping this data is incorrect. Some of us maybe. No, there could be no hope that it is correct. Because if it is, that money's gone forever. Putting it in more perspective, Robert Sterling ran more data. And that was the low estimate. This doesn't include the potential fraud from fake beneficiaries below age 100, because if we're to assume that large of a bracket above 100 is fraudulent, imagine how many within the lower brackets are fraudulent. By my math and adjusting for a normalized age distribution in accordance with the Census of the United States of America, this could bring the total amount of fraud to $793 billion per year. Over the course of 10 years, let's call it $8 trillion of potential high estimate fraud if all these numbers are proven correct. Here's the question everybody's asking now, aren't they? If that meant data is fraudulent and they have Social Security numbers, then did that affect, or are they registered to vote also? Logical question, right? But again, just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to connect 4 stories for you. Real quick, real easy. I'm going to tell you what it cost you. All right, huge favors. Thank you for all of you. The subscriptions here are growing daily. People just like stone cold hard facts. I guess the way I deliver them, for that I am truly appreciative. For all of those of you who have joined as members here, it's the only way to keep the lights and cameras on. So thank you. Again, I can never say it enough. And some of you have taken the extra step to join Lisa Haven and I in the platform we created, where we remove all commercials, all sponsors, It's beholden to no one but our audience. That is at restrictedrepublic.com. There's still confusion. Well, on YouTube, they play commercials. Yes, they do. It's their platform. But a Restricted Republic, that's our platform. We built it for you. Stone cold hard facts only. Exclusive content like this video that I'm going to extend on into more detail and get into Russia and get into 60 Minutes and get into exactly how they misled you. All the details. I'm going to give you the facts that we talked about first, this death count, and then I'll continue on like I always do on my podcast. They get rather lengthy, so if you like information, and I give you all my references, you should see them. 20, 30, 40 references at times, because I want you to vet out everything I say. Because I have no doubt I've done the research necessary to bring you the facts, and you've shown me by subscribing to the channel, by joining as a member, and so many of you coming over to Restricted Republic, and I hope you'll do that today. But now let's get back to this broadcast.
I want to tell you my secret now. I see dead people.
And if that wasn't bad enough, I guess we pay dead people now. I wonder where all that money ends up cycling back to, huh? Think it just ends up in a black hole. Wonder when they find out how much of that money was cashed or not cashed. Those are numbers I'm looking for, but he can't find that out until he has access to the data. And somebody, or many, are now departing. Top Social Security official exits after clash with Musk's Doge over data. Because without the data, we can't see what was cashed, who cashed it, where they cashed it, and who they may know. Why do you think they're fighting so hard in courts against all of this? Not only within Social Security, but also the Treasury. Because it appears we have a lot of black holes out there, a lot of graveyards to uncover. Stephen Miller exposing a bit more of this fraud.
As we know, there's a massive amount of fraud in this country. You have, for example, foreign fraud rings. These are foreign nationals who come into the United States. They use fake Social Security numbers. They use fake identities to steal billions in taxpayer benefits. There's no way to know until Doge gains full access exactly how much money we're talking about. But over a 10-year normal budget window, you could be talking about saving over $1 trillion.
Over $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Why not? Let's just throw some more numbers around. So far we're at low estimate 500 billion. And now we're at low estimate another trillion. I'm sorry that he actually pushed that framework out to over 10 years. So that would mean the first low estimate was 5 trillion. High estimate 7 trillion. He's talking about another $1 trillion. You think it stops there? Nope. The Treasury access symbol. TAS is an identification code linking a Treasury payment to a budget line item. Hence why and how you would pass an audit. We'd like to know where the money was going to, except in the federal government, the TAS field was optional for 4.7 trillion in payments and was often just left blank. Don't worry about where that money's going. So it makes traceability all but impossible. You can't know where the payments went. But you can see who paid them, right? Who cashed the check? Again, access to data. This is why they are fighting it. Not for the record of how many payments went out. Oh, that's bad enough. Who cashed the checks? I'm sure nobody's putting it in this way to you, but this is the key to everything. The government will audit you, track down every single dollar that you spent in your bank account, watch your bank account, hunt you down and squeeze out every last penny, but they don't even have to fill out a traceability code. Heck, they don't even have to pay people who are still alive. No, they pay dead people. But who cashed the check? I was going to save this for later, but I think I'll go straight to it because, if you're one of the good guys, what happens? Biden rushes an audit on you. Pete Hegseth and his wife were auditing your federal income tax return. You see how it works? Of course, the outgoing Biden IRS rushed an audit of the incoming Secretary of Defense. Total sham. The party of norms and decency strikes again. Oh, because they want to protect their never-ending checks, it appears. At least where they were going. Or again, who was cashing them? Just the tip of the iceberg. The money just keeps going. The hits keep on coming, don't they?
Back to Doge just for a second. Earlier, the subcommittee headed by Chairman Marcia Taylor Greene, her and her staff discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid, overseas, to people who should not have gotten it.
Where's the rest of the cash? Another $2.7 trillion. So if we're just to take a quick board here, and let's just spread it out over a year. So far we have 700 billion, high estimate. Another 10 billion by Miller. 4.7 trillion in black hole payments. 2.7 trillion in Medicare and Medicaid. You have a total of $7 trillion. That's not even wasteful spending yet. That's just improper payments. And with the U.S. debt clock at $36 trillion, what would that debt clock look over the course of 10 years if, well, according to this estimate, 70 trillion or so didn't go out the door? That's right. We'd have our independence, wouldn't we? We'd be beholden to no one. But what did they do to counterbalance this? That's right, raise our taxes so they could take more money into their proverbial black hole. And no, folks, frankly, I'm not okay with that. And you shouldn't be okay with that either. But what does former RNC Chair Michael Steele have to say about all this? Trump derangement syndrome ongoing. Now Elon Musk derangement syndrome just starting because, man, they seem real upset that we're tracking down where our taxpayer dollars went, huh? I wonder where some of them ended up.
You know what? I just like you to show that you give a damn, that you got a little emotion about the fact that people are losing their jobs indiscriminately. This individual sitting down at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has given absolute power to one man who brings his son into the Oval Office, whose son says to him, "You're not the president."
Well, at least Elon Musk's son is more factual than former RNC Chair Michael Steele. You see their derangement syndrome? The panic is what I call it. It's not derangement syndrome. It's panic. It's panic at what Doge is uncovering. It is panic that we're paying dead people. It's panic. Not only that we're paying, who's cashing the checks, who they're affiliated with, who they're associated with, who the true fraudsters and scammers are, and is that money potentially coming full circle? Oh, we have someone who claims that it may be. Doge seeks access to highly sensitive taxpayer data at the IRS, but this is the clip. This is the clip from Tim Burkett that comes out that declares everything I've been talking about. Because what are they truly searching for? The best is yet to come.
And when you see people here in Tennessee paying 50% of their income to state, federal, and local taxes through through everything else, fees and everything else, and then they see us sending literally billions overseas to our enemies. I've uncovered $40 million going to the Taliban. A guy named Sean Ryan over in Middle Tennessee, former Navy SEAL, podcaster. He and another guy named Legend had brought this to my attention. And, last term, I could not even get the Democrats to bring it up in the Senate. It passed unanimous in the House, not even a question, because they're going to have to admit they made a mistake. And they've continuously made a mistake, and they did it on purpose, is the worst part about it. And this graph that you're seeing, and that's 100% what it is. Yeah. I think you're going to see a paper trail come back to Washington, D.C., and that's why I think a lot of people are nervous, and you'll see a lot of retirements because they are stealing from the American taxpayer, and now they've got their hand caught in the cookie jar, and all they can do is attack Elon Musk.
There it is. The beautiful sound of Democrats are terrified that Elon Musk and Doge, because of all the graft coming back to Washington, D.C. When you follow the paper trail, they've been stealing, funding themselves along with our enemies, and now they've been caught with the hand in the proverbial cookie jar. But Democrats, through their derangement syndrome, insulting MAGA Republicans, Tom Hanks on a show I don't watch anymore, Saturday Night Live, playing a racist Trump supporter, Spike Lee with We Want Our 40 Acres and a Mule out in the NBA court. What's their next plan? Divide. Because they haven't conquered anything. No, they're all busted right now. So now they'll attempt to divide, and they'll divide through many means. And I'm going to continue on through these many means now, but I wanted to bring you the heart of this story. It is one of the biggest historic frauds that has ever come to light. So if you'd like to join me, I'm going to continue on this podcast over at Restricted Republic. Remember, you can cancel anytime if you join as a member there, but trust me, once you're there, you won't cancel. It is the news in the format you've been looking for. No commercials, no interruptions, no sponsors, beholden to no one but you, the way we wanted it. And your support over there means the world to Lisa and I. Hope you'll join us. If not, until next time, I'll continue to bring you the heavy-hitting headlines here as I always do. God bless. Godspeed. Man, this is legendary what's happening right now. Justus Knight, signing out.